from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Thursday, March 27th. So we have the moon in Pisces energy here all day, which is no joke. We're hella sensitive. We're hella confused. We're sitting in the emotional ocean that we thought we were done with when we left Pisces season for Aries season. But now we have been tossed back in it. And with that, there's a lot of reflection. There is a lot of pain and trauma wounds coming to the surface of our awareness once again. And to kind of rub salt in those particular wounds, Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, she's retrograde, but she's retrograding back into Pisces energy here today. So there is an astro forecast for that particular event. If you have your March energy guide available to you, I'm going to recommend that you get that out in front of you and really capture what is going on in your heart space. There's going to be a lot of heart activations here today. Again, listen to the ascension forecast that I put out for this week to stay ahead of these energies. And if you want to do a deep dive in what Venus's retrograde is all about and how this energy is going to be very different compared to the Aries energy that we've been retrograde in, there is an astro class over on my Patreon devoted to Venus's entire retrograde period. Now, all of that being said, there are 8 different aspects taking place here today. 6 of those aspects are going to involve the moon. The moon in Pisces is going to make a beautiful interaction with the sun in Aries energy to kick off the day. Now, anytime that the sun and the moon are coming together, there's going to be an aha moment. There's going to be a new level of awareness of what we want, what we need, what we desire, and what we need to do to get it. Now, that being said, the Pisces energy is about endings and closures of a karmic chapter that, again, we've been kind of growing through. The Aries energy is about beginnings, what we want to initiate, what we want to build and create. So the sun is shining very brightly in this Aries energy, and typically speaking, if this was a typical Aries season, not being put on pause by the universe due to the retrograde, due to the eclipses, we would be in a situation where we're taking action and making moves each and every single day to further progress the path, the direction that we want to pursue. However, we're on pause. That means that there is a little bit of a frustration, a restlessness, ants in our pants building because, again, we're not in a place to take action and make moves at all. What this particular interaction is going to do for us, though, is remind us what we're passionate about, what we truly desire, what we want to take action upon, how we think we're going to execute those particular plans. And emotionally speaking, the moon in Pisces is down for it. Why? Because our intuition is strong. We're aligned with our higher self. We know what that vision, that goal, that dream looks like, what it feels like, and we are prepared to do the endings, the closures needed in order to get it. Just as we're feeling good, just as we're kind of, seeing where it is that major moves eventually will be made, the moon in Pisces is then going to semi-square, which creates tension and conflict, with Chiron, the wounded healer, in Aries energy. So again, typically speaking, when we gain clarity, when we're kind of inspired, when we're motivated, when we realize what needs to be done and we're building ourselves up to actually do it, usually we get a little bit of a setback. This would be one of those cases. We get so overwhelmed, again, moon in Pisces, we get overwhelmed with emotion, we get overwhelmed with energies, we get overwhelmed with the to-do list. We get so overwhelmed that, again, we start losing ourselves in fear and doubt and insecurity. That old version of self, the shadow parts come out to play. We start second guessing all the things that we were sure of with the earlier interaction between the sun and the moon. So we're beating ourselves up, we're breaking ourselves down, we're kind of being a bully to ourselves because this is the way that the ego programming keeps us in a state of paralysis. It does not feel good, it's not supposed to. However, it puts into perspective, especially under the moon in Pisces, what we need to heal, what we need to bring full circle, what we need to put behind us so that we stop self-sabotaging. The moon is then going to make a very uncomfortable interaction with Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire, even our anger. Mars is in Cancer energy, a sister water sign to Pisces. And normally, if this was a positive interaction, this would be very cleansing, very purifying, very renewing, very refreshing to our soul, our spirit, and our intuition. This is not a good interaction, which means that water on water interactions in the not greatest way means that this is an emotional shitstorm. Our frustration, our anger is coming out to play. Again, does it feel good? No, it's not supposed to. It's supposed to illuminate where it is that we have been probably kind of dimming our light for other people, probably where we have been going to great lengths to actually mask and hide how it is that we actually feel. Mars, of course, he's in Cancer energy, so he's hella protective, hella defensive. He needs to find emotional stability. But here's the thing, we've gone to such a great length to actually mask and repress our anger and our frustration that when we get triggered and activated, it all comes out to play in a very quote unquote violent way. Now, it could be emotionally violent. Again, we're just sitting with ourselves, kind of stirring, kind of beating ourselves, breaking ourselves down. However, if we're not careful, we could be projecting that anger, that frustration on people that do not deserve it. So we have to be very, very aware of the triggers, of the activations, and how it is that we are choosing to handle it. 4:41 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, retrogrades back into the Pisces energy, sitting at the 29th critical crisis degree. Again, I recommend you take a listen to the astro forecast that I put out for this, the ascension forecast that I put out for this week. Get your March energy guide available. Listen to that astro class because this is a major pivot point in our healing journey. Now, shortly thereafter, Venus is going to team up with Neptune at this final degree, this critical crisis karmic degree of Pisces energy. And again, Neptune being the higher octave of Venus, meaning Neptune puts us in our creative juices, in our imagination, in the higher flow of our higher self, in order to gain a visual, a download, if you will, of what we want, need, and desire. Venus is the portal between the higher metaphysical realms and the physical world. She's able to essentially give birth to the ideas that Neptune downloads us with. This particular interaction is going to be intense. It throws us back into an element of confusion. It throws us back into an element of delusion. It puts us in a situation where we forget what we're fighting for, where we forget where it is that we made a little bit of progress in realizing where it is that we have to kind of detach from particular people, places, and things. This is an overwhelming heart activation. This is going to throw us back into the depths of our darkness. This is going to put us in a situation to kind of rip open the wounds that we thought we were doing a good job in healing, all for the fact of us, again, providing an ending and a closure point to the karmic chapters that we've been working very hard to put behind us. All of these activations happening in divine timing in preparation for, again, that karmic reset coming at us with that new moon solar eclipse in Aries energy. We sit in this energy for a couple of hours. We then have the moon in Pisces energy making a beautiful interaction with Uranus, the great awakener, who of course is in Taurus energy. So one thing I will say is that we love when Pisces and Taurus energy is working well together, because Pisces energy is very creative, very imaginative, very fantasy-like. Again, we're kind of in the higher realms of ourselves, of our spirit, of our souls. We're in the metaphysical realm. But whatever it is that we can visualize, whatever it is that we get downloaded with, we can bring it to life through that Taurus energy being a fixed earth sign. The energy here is a aha moment, an awakening of sorts. Uranus does rule over our consciousness. Pisces is our spiritual karma. And emotionally speaking, there's going to be a zap coming at us. Now, again, major impact on our central nervous system. Listen to the ascension forecast for this week to stay ahead of the game. This is going to bring a level of clarity, This is going to bring the zap, the reminder that we need after getting tossed back into the emotional ocean of Venus moving back into that Pisces energy and suddenly just forgetting all the things that we learned about ourselves while she was in the Aries energy. This is like a reminder of where it is that we have to fight for ourselves. The Uranian energy not only brings us this, new perspective, this new mood, this new attitude, this aha moment, this clarity, but the Uranian energy wants to free us and liberate us from the old, from those old karmic chapters, from that old pain, from that old karma. And so emotionally speaking, there is this epiphany, if you will, of what all this is happening for, what we're fighting for, what we need to do in order to break free. And that particular energy comes at a great point in time because the moon in Pisces then gets into the boxing ring, squares off with Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings. He's in Gemini energy. So we've been flip-flopping back and forth, up and down, all around on what we're actually going to do. Jupiter wants us to grow, especially expand on old ideas, old information, old knowledge. But at the same time, we're kind of confused. We're losing faith. We are kind of overwhelmed with emotion. And because Jupiter usually brings optimism, because he usually brings confidence in a good aspect, this is a square. This is an internalized growing pain that we are struggling with. And so emotionally speaking, the moon in Pisces is all about trusting our gut, trusting our intuition, trusting our higher self. The problem is that we've detached and disconnected with that higher self at this particular point in time. And the Gemini energy that Jupiter is all about logic, all about like logic and practicality. And that totally opposes and conflicts with emotion and intuition. So this is an overwhelming, let's call it emotional and mental situation where we can't see the forest past the trees, where we have so many tabs open in our brain that don't make sense to us anymore, where we're having a hard time putting into words what it is that we're thinking, what it is that we're feeling. And at this particular point, Negative Nancy, Betty the Bully, coming out to play. We do not have the faith. We do not have the trust. We do not have the vision that we once did. And because of that, we are triggering, activating the fears, the doubts, the insecurities. We are second guessing our own damn selves, and that definitely doesn't feel good. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon in this Pisces energy semi-squaring, which again creates a little bit of tension and conflict, this time with Pluto. Pluto is the great transformer. He is in Aquarius energy. Because Pluto is being aspected in not the nicest way, he's about to take us on a trip down the darker parts of memory lane. Why? Because we have to address our fears. We have to address the doubts, the insecurities that just popped up within us. We have to ask ourselves who planted these seeds and why do we continue to water them? Why do we continue to encourage them to grow? Now, Pluto does not mess around. He takes us on these little journeys down the darker parts of who it is that we are and how it is that we think and how it is that we feel in order to help us reframe the situations, the circumstances, the pain, the trauma, the memories into something that can motivate us, fuel us. Again, reminder, Pluto's whole point is to turn that darkness into light, to turn that pain into power. But he does so in a tough love kind of way. And because the moon in Pisces is overwhelmed with emotion, wants to check out, wants to disassociate, wants to numb, again, the whole point of this is that you have to feel it in order to heal it. And Pluto is going to make sure that we face our demons, we face our darkness so that we can choose in that moment whether we're going to continue to water the seeds that are set up to destroy us, or whether we're going to basically dig these seeds up, weed this garden out, flip the script, and actually start building something that is going to love us, support us, and encourage us to make the improvements that need to be made in our conscious selves, in our own empowerment journey, that are going to help us build the goal, the vision, the dream that we are wanting to actually manifest.